Hey everybody, welcome, and thank you for listening to this episode of Marriage Therapy Radio. My name is Zach Brittle, and let's see. A couple weeks ago, we had a couple here from Portugal, which was fun. This couple that you're going to meet today, I'm delighted to introduce you to them. They met in Peru. If you listened a couple weeks ago to my P's and Q's episode, you know I'm kind of fascinated with the P bit. I want to tell you about another P thing that's coming up in Philadelphia. Those of you who may be in or near the Philadelphia area, Northern Virginia, Delaware, Maryland, South Jersey, Philadelphia, surrounding suburbs. I'm going to be there with a colleague. We're going to be leading a 2-day relational life therapy, relational skills boot camp. It's basically a fierce intimacy retreat, and we'd love to have you, particularly if you are hoping to level up in your relationship. It is going to be on November 8th and 9th in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia. We have an early bird discount that'll be available through October 12th. So if you're there and thinking about it, go ahead and shoot me an email. I'll send you a registration link, and we can go from there. I'm also happy to answer any questions that you might have to help you discern if it's a good fit for you. Rebecca and I took this boot camp. I've been teaching it now for a couple of years. It's a great opportunity to, again, just sort of level up in the relationship. And I would love to see you, meet you in person. So if you get a chance, come on out. Between now and then, I am so delighted to introduce you to Jennifer Poole and Andres Diaz. They are a young couple currently living in Colombia. They are known as those coffee people. That is the first conversation I've ever had in my life that's made me think about wanting to drink coffee. But they have a unique story about how they came together and how they're making it work, how they came up with their own unique business plan, given their skills and their interests and the opportunity, and then kind of what they're thinking about what's next. They have a great model for their relationship, one that I think all of us can afford to emulate. And I'm going to let them tell you about it. This is a very cool conversation. Stick around. I suppose we should get this out of the way first, which is I don't drink coffee.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
How?
I know. It's my whole life. I think I grew up in a house that made like drip coffee on the regular, and I didn't like the smell, and I don't like coffee ice cream. I don't like coffee. I mean, so tell me, what am I missing? Like, because you guys are those coffee people. What am I missing?
So you're missing to have that one cup that changes your mind. There's this phenomenon in non-coffee drinkers that switch to usually specialty coffee drinkers, where they have that one cup that they couldn't imagine coffee could taste like that, and then they go, holy crap, what was I missing? And so I grew up in a family that drank Folgers. Are you from the States?
Yeah.
Folgers is,
Yeah.
gas station coffee almost. And so when I would like try a little bit here or there, I was like, this is nasty. This is disgusting. Like, what are you people drinking? And until I had a actual like specialty cup of coffee, I thought coffee was gross. And then you have that one cup that changes your mind and you go, this is what it could be like.
Yeah. For my side, it's totally different because I come from a coffee family, which I mean, like my family used to be coffee growers. So since the moment I can remember, coffee was always around. And I cannot attest that it was good quality coffee because, believe it or not, in Colombia, not everyone drink high quality coffee. But I learned how to love it, even though it was good or bad. And then the moment that we started getting into more specialized products, it was clear to understand the difference. And I was like, well, this is my area, so I'm just going to keep improving on this.
So what do you make of the one cup of coffee theory that Jennifer has?
Did you experience that?
Yes, I did. When we started our coffee journey into those coffee people, our first point was, okay, let's understand how this could be different. Because it was pretty much the same for me back in the time. And then we started getting into some people that started providing us like, okay, this is different. And it was this time in this town called Salgar when we were invited to their first technical assessment. They were really good people and they were giving us all the information. And we got a table with like 24 coffee cups. I was like, this is all the same. And then the guy was just explaining this, explaining that. And when you have the guidance, when someone is telling you this could be different, this changes, you immediately understand like, oh, okay, yes, I see. And from that moment, I got changed.
Okay. I think that's the first time. This might be the first time in my life I'm like, maybe I need to go sit down with 24 cups of coffee and have somebody tell me what's going on.
Yes, definitely. And then you put a cup of like Folgers or Maxwell House or whatever standard supermarket cheap coffee next to it, and you go, yeah, I don't like this. This is bad. And the other ones are not bad.
Side-to-side comparison always works to highlight the more basic or to improve like the peak. And when you have side-to-side comparisons, it's really hard to not to find the difference.
Huh. Yeah, I like I said, I'm from Seattle. I don't drink coffee. I don't like dogs. I don't drive a Subaru. I'm not gay. I've never played pickleball. I don't know if I'm actually allowed to stay here. So it's
Were you born there?
No, I was born in Virginia, and I'm pretty sure the smell that I'm describing to you is Folgers. Like I think it was Folgers
I'm sure.
being just kind of brewed in my house.
Yes.
Okay, but you guys became those coffee people. How did you meet? How did you find one another?
Oh my gosh. Oh, so
that's the story.
Yeah, we met in a hostel in Peru.
Okay.
I was traveling by myself on like a little backpacking trip, and he was with a friend. And there was like a communal like dining garden, and I forget who asked to sit next to who, but there was an extra seat next to someone, and one of us asked to sit next to the other one, and then we ended up talking, and nothing like sparked necessarily that night, but it happened that we were both going from the place we were at, a little oasis called Huacachina, to Cusco, like where the Inca Trail and all that is. And we were both going there separately, but on the same days. So he asked for my Facebook, because I think like he even lost his phone at that moment.
I didn't have a phone in that moment. Yeah.
And he like Facebooked me once we got there and was like, hey, come out, like with me and my friend, come out with us, hang out, let's go get a drink. And I did. And from there, this could be like a 2-hour story, but we ended up traveling together for about a month. And then at that moment, I was going back to where I was currently working, which was in Kuwait. I had a job that sent me all over the world, and my project was in Kuwait. And from there, I ended up thinking like, I could probably move to Colombia. It sounds like a good idea. And yeah, long story short, I quit my job, packed my bags, moved to Colombia, and we started Those Coffee People.
I want to highlight that this version of the story just set a record. She said it in less than 3 minutes, and that's remarkable because she normally doesn't take more than 5. My version can take up to 2 hours, and I'm not going to bring it today. But in the same line of what Jennifer was saying, from my perspective, I was working for a corporate job at Colombia, a really important company here in Colombia. I was having a really exciting life. I was living my career, going through my path. And I decided to have a wild vacation with my good friend where I said, okay, let's travel, let's enjoy. I want to enjoy diversity. I want to meet people. I really want to be super social. And for engagement at that point, when I met Jennifer, I was having this nurturing experience of like different personalities, different cultures. And I got really interested in her. She was like bringing the part of the girl who has been over the world from Kuwait and this type of things. That was really interesting. And it was really lucky the fact that we were able to continue on the path. And indeed, I lost my phone. I was having a lot of fun. And I thank God for Facebook because in that way I was able to stay in touch with her. When we were able to share more time together because of the journey we were going through, I immediately started realizing I like this. This is exciting. This is nurturing for me. And then I was like, I need to convince this girl to go to Colombia. And this is the next step of the story. You continue.
Well, after we were in Peru, he told me, he was like, hey, what are you doing next after Peru? And I was like, well, I think I'm going to go to Bolivia because it was kind of like geographically right there. And he was like, Bolivia? Why don't you come to Colombia? And I was just traveling by myself. I had no plans. I was like, okay, sure. And on the spot, booked a ticket. And that next week, I was visiting him here in Medellin.
Man, I do not have that gene. I'm impressed and always amazed by people who can just be like, yeah, I'm going to go travel the world and I'm going to change my plans last second. I'm going to kind of just do the next thing. So, okay, presumably though, you guys had been in relationships before, you'd met other people before along the way on your travels. Why was this meeting different? Like, what was different about one another that you said, oh no, I'm going to invest more time and energy and attention in this person?
I have a funny one, and then you could say yours.
Go ahead.
He's crazy.
I like to have fun.
He, on like the third night we had ever gone out, he asked me to marry him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He made a fake ring, like out of a piece of trash, like a piece of tinfoil trash. And in the middle of a birthday dinner of the friend he was traveling with, he was like, "Oh, I got a question for you. Will you marry me?" And I was like, this guy's out of his mind. Like, how weird. And then I was thinking, like, well, you know what? Let's just go for it. You just tell the guy yes. You're never gonna see him again. Yeah, sure, okay. And that kind of interested me. I was like, this guy's wild.
Okay, but is that when you got engaged, or is that just kind of this?
No, that was the third night we had ever met.
And we call it our first wedding.
Okay. That's amazing. So, but you had a different version, Andres, or maybe you have your own story of how.
Yeah, well, so I was having a really traditional life here in Medellin, Colombia. The corporate life that I was saying, and I was like really happy with the group of friends that I was having, but I was having a similar experience through all the years. We, as paisas, people from Medellin, we're a super conservative culture. And it's easy that you get into the same type of things. My past relationships were a little bit of the same. And I was really looking for something different. I was to a point that I was making stories in my head that I was going to marry a foreigner girl. I was talking in English on the phone when I was like 14, 15. I think that was the biggest proof of manifestation. And I didn't realize that actually it's going to be real. So it was like in my head. I knew that there was something different for me. I'm happy and proud about my culture. I love to be from here, but I started realizing that this world is bigger. And I came into this journey of this vacation of, I want to see this. I'm not going far away. This is South America, but I knew that the place that we're visiting, there's a lot of diversity, a lot of cultures, a lot of perspectives. And for me, the moment that I saw Jennifer, it was like, oh my God, this is the lady. Like, this is what you were calling for. And as Jennifer
like
said,
the girl that you made up in your brain at 14, you're like, this is her. Oh,
correct. And as she said, like, when you're having this like crazy moments, it's supposed to be a thing of one day and that's it. But for me, it was so meaningful that even the next day I couldn't stop thinking about her. So we had this wedding, and we have a lot of fun. It was the party night and whatever. But the next day I was like, oh my goodness, I have a wife. And I called her. We were in different hotels. She was in a hotel. I was in another hotel. And I was like, hey, let's go walk around. I was treating her like we were literally having a honeymoon, like holding her hand, walking through the square of Cusco. I was like really acting like I shouldn't be, considering it was just a temporary moment. But I realized, okay, there's something here. And I thought to myself, I want to give the opportunity of the moment to live it, not to limit it. And I don't know what the future is going to bring. She's probably going to go back to Kuwait, and we will see.
And for me, like that contrast against the type of men that I had seen in my life who are like so unemotional, like that feeling of like being ghosted. You meet someone and you have a great time, and then like whatever, life happens, you never hear from them again. That was the exact situation I was expecting with him. Some guy I met at a dinner. I didn't expect him to follow up. You see that movie all the time.
You're like, we're going to have 2 days of bliss and then just going to vanish off the face of the earth. Yeah.
And so I thought he was just like crazy. And then he kept following up with me. I was like, there's something fun here. I can keep answering
My
him.
good friend, the buddy that I was traveling with, he was looking at me. It's like, what are you doing? Like, it's over. Next, let's continue our journey, and you're going to meet someone else. And I was like, no, I want to keep talking to this girl. And he was looking at me like, oh my goodness. Okay, Andres, fine. Keep talking to her, and let's see what you're going to do when you go back to Medellin.
Yeah. Right on. So, Jennifer, are you from the States?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
born
from? And raised in Connecticut.
Oh, right on. Where in Connecticut?
A very small town on the border of New York State, like halfway through the state. It's called New Fairfield, not Fairfield. New Fairfield.
Yeah. Before we lived in Seattle, my wife and I lived in Fairfield County.
Oh, okay.
We were actually in Weston.
Oh, so, yeah. Kind of neighbors. A
little bit.
In the grand scheme of things.
So, how do you think about your relationship culturally? Like, how do you think about it cross-culturally? Has that been amazing? Has that been challenging? Probably both. But like, how do you make sense of it for one another or for people who are listening?
Well, I have to start from the part that I'm really proud about being from here, but I definitely was looking for something different. The challenges that you see in Medellin's culture are pretty much the same. There's a lot of chauvinism. There's a lack of empowerment of the woman. And I was looking for something different. And when I see Jennifer and I saw what is the opposite of that, I had a lot of excitement about seeing the world from a different perspective, but also a lot of challenges. When we talk about cultures and perspectives, we believe that from Colombia's side, we can be more oriented to relationship and less, determined to results. And how would you describe yours?
You more like you honor your word, the time, the other person's time, like you're goal oriented. We're all trying to get somewhere.
And maybe the relationship is interpreted in a different way. It's not like there's no relation.
No, of course it's not like there's no relationship.
There's a different interpretation.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that people from Medellin aren't like that. It's just like what is more likely to be and what is less likely to be. So when I saw this compliment, because this is how I took it, it's a compliment. I said like, okay, this is really good for building a life. This is really good to create a team, because at the end there's no one truth. The truth is just like a multiple composition of perspectives. And I got really excited about having like this offset of whatever I feel I am. And I said, this is the type of things that is going to take me somewhere when we have this division, this diversity of point of views. So yes, challenges, definitely. I admire a lot the fact that she was the one able to quit to her life in one way or other way and come here to live my life. So then I realized I have to quit something too. Like, what is that thing that I'm going to quit? And quit doesn't mean that I shouldn't be like that. Quit means that I have to be more open to move towards that side. And I realized that she's already here. I need to also make a equivalent effort in order to be in a balance.
So would you quit?
Well, I quit my perspective of commitment.
What kind of commitment?
In our culture, where we tend to feel more free, tend to feel that we're not controlled by the women. There's even like a bullying between guys, like, oh, you're a short leash. That's the joke. Like, oh, anyone who acts more in like a couple is considered short leash because the wife is like holding the doggy from the leash and she's the lady in boss. And there's bullying about that. Like, there are some guys that really want to prove that they're not like that. And they end up being like something that I don't believe is accurate. So for me, that was the point, that I need to understand how is my perspective? What do I have from my point of view? What is my interpretation of women empowerment? What do I believe about gender equality and all these things in order to be in this middle point that gets me closer to Jennifer? So I had to quit that. The truth is just what I was living around and understand it's not like that. It's bigger.
Yeah. What about for you, Jennifer? How do you understand it? How do you, I mean, you're the one who's living in a brand new place. You're the one who's like in the other place, the other, capital O. What is, how do you make sense of that? How do you assimilate that?
This was like the 8th place that I had lived outside the States.
So you're like an expert.
I had, no, my job, it sent me like constantly around, but in the other places that I lived, I didn't really assimilate with the local culture as much as I did with him, and like, you know, being involved with his family and being involved with his friends. And like, I was the minority in every single situation that I was ever a part of. And I believe I'm pretty adaptable, with the exception of, the thing he was mentioning of like dealing with commitments. Like, I lose my mind when someone tells me they're going to do something and then they don't do it. And here it's like very normal that if like someone says they intend to do something and they're like actually have no intention of ever doing it, they know they're not going to get it done.
I'm not going to do that. Yeah.
The time interpretation here is totally different.
That's the only thing that makes me have a problem. And I think it relates to my main, I guess you call it like character flaw, is I'm wildly impatient. And by putting myself in an environment and a culture where people like demand patience and like being calm, cool, and collected under stress, that's like the thing I need to work on the most. So it's like sometimes really tough, but I think it's life giving me what I need.
Right on. So you decided to become those coffee people. Did you just pick something that was the third thing, or were you already connected to that, Andres, or like how did this become your area of interest and growth?
Well, those coffee people is the continuation of our love story, because those coffee people starts when Jennifer comes to Medellin for the second time. So the first time she came, it was just confirming that we like each other and we are a couple that are willing to look of what's next. from her side and from my side. And then we started talking, and then she ended up coming by surprise here to Medellin as a last minute trip. And in that moment, we were like, okay, it seems like we have to make this work, right? You came here from Kuwait, so what are we going to do? And before thinking about specifically what business or what was the step, we said, what do we like about us? What is the thing that we're celebrating in our relationship? It was diversity, connecting perspectives, seeing points of views, and making that things flow between 2 points. And we're like, okay, so this gives us joy. If this makes us be in this moment of life where you're coming here, how can we do the same and make a life out of it? How can we enjoy the same passion and this same joy that we have by actually building a business? And then here's where we start with the brainstorm. Okay, let's do this, let's do that. At the end, we realized that connections was about perspectives and cultures. And we said, okay, it has to be something from here to another place. So we had to move product. We had to do business outside to make this bridge. And that diversity of perspectives and cultures at the end help people to get into business, to get into transactions, to get into deals or long-term relationships. So now there needs to be a vehicle. And what type of vehicles could they be? They could be gold, they could be minerals, they could be whatever other products that we can manufacture, textile, services. And then here we came to the point like, hey, you know what? Actually, my family comes from an agricultural background from both sides, mom and dad. And my family used to be in the coffee field as producers. And then Jennifer came like, hey, well, in the Middle East, coffee is a thing. What was happening in the Middle East?
So my experience in Kuwait was really interesting because there's no bars, there's no like entertainment industry, and my job there was working for a company that did economic reports, and like my market at that time was Kuwait. And so in other markets, there's like always a tourism and entertainment section of the report, but in Kuwait there was nothing. There's no tourism, there's no entertainment, there's not even a tourist visa to get to Kuwait. But then I started to think like, actually that's not right. There is a developing section of the economy of tourism and entertainment, which was coffee. People have these extravagant coffee shops. They're beautiful. They're unbelievable. They even have like sometimes DJs at night. Like the streets are full of people at like 8 p.m. drinking coffee. And it's just remarkable. It's something that I had never really seen before in the world. And it's because it replaced the alcohol. Like it replaced the bars. And so when we were making this brainstorm, I was thinking like, I just saw a whole country of people who drink this incredible specialty coffee. You know a bit about coffee and how, you know, it's produced and how it's exported. And let's give this thing a shot.
But it's also part of my culture, and I lived it, and I am surrounded by like a nationality that vibrates by being an important coffee producing country. So it's part of my pride. So when she shared me this cultural way to enjoy it, and I thought about, okay, well, for Colombia, this means so much. That's when I realized, oh my goodness, this is like our relationship. There's a truth in that side, there's a truth on this side. And when you connect both perspectives, you have a bigger truth. And then that was what clicked me and say, hey, yeah, we're going to get into coffee. What do you know? What are you good at, Jennifer? And she said, I'm good at selling. And then what am I good at? I'm good at making things happen. So, okay.
Sales and operations.
Sales and operations.
The foundation of any good startup.
I will do the operation. You do the sales. I will find the producers. You find the customers. We have to learn a lot, but we'll figure it out. And that's how we started Those Coffee People. A project with love, passion, with a goal of connecting cultures, of putting together diversity and creating a truth that is nurtured by perspectives and how else do you say?
And we also really like to travel, and we really wanted it. We wanted a job that could allow us to do business anywhere.
I miss that part.
I mean, there's very few products in the world that can be shared by people, you know, young and old, rich and poor, different religions, different geographic boundaries. Tell me a few products, you know, that probably exist that you can sell throughout all of these different places, and that you can travel and do business in all these different places, and that was coffee.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm having, like I said, man, I'm having an experience I've never had before, which is like, maybe I'll try coffee. That's interesting. So how long have you been doing this?
Since we had the idea in November 2017, and we did our first export in May of 2018.
Okay.
Less than a year after the idea.
And when you say our first export, you exported coffee? You exported like
Yes.
beans or whatever to.
Yes.
I don't even know how to talk about coffee.
Yeah.
So can I get it here in Seattle? Like, can I go find those coffee people here?
No,
No.
we don't have any roasters in Seattle.
Yeah,
but
I'll help you.
So
I'll help you find some people.
I think we have to explain a little bit more.
Yeah, no, we got to explain to you what it is that doesn't mean export coffee. So coffee is
a raw material.
exported in a raw material form, and roasters put it in like an oven, a roasting machine, and it roasts it to the point that it is a roasted coffee that you can grind and brew and consume. But we primarily deal with the raw material. It's called a green bean, and these are what are sold wholesale B2B to people who roast the coffee. We also do a little bit of roasting ourselves, and we send roasted coffee, but by volume, green coffee is way more widely exported.
Yeah. Do you fight? Do you have disagreements? Do you have what's hard about what you're doing? It seems so delightful and like serendipitous, but what's the hard part?
We have the same fight over and over and over, which is that I'm impatient and that I don't know, whatever he does.
And I am weak and like not so, how to say, straightforward probably.
Yeah. That's the only fight we ever have.
But the topic is different, but the DNA is the same.
Yeah, the triggers are different, but the core problem
down to the same
is always that I am impatient and maybe explosive at moments of severe impatience, and that he makes mistakes because of
rambling around so much and like not being so clear. So it's pretty much trying to be like a likable person. Like I try so hard to make myself like that guy that everyone likes, and the cool guy that moves, which is important in this culture, because when you come too sharp and too straightforward, people tend to like, this person is not so nice. And being nice here is particular.
It's critical.
Critical and particular because it has a specific interpretation. If you're too loud, you're not nice. If you speak too straightforward, you're not nice. If you're impatient, you're not nice.
A lot of people think I'm not nice.
For example. Yeah. So I have to keep playing the thing. It's my culture. It's my background. It's my toolbox. But then we put it in the context of what we are, because we are not only this context, we are a bigger context. And when we put it in context of what we're trying to do in our business, this can turn into a challenge. And here's where we start into our discussions.
Yeah. So what happens when you fight? Like what? I mean, I'm not trying to pick a fight, but like how does this show up? Does it show up every day? Is it 30 seconds long? Is it 2 days long? I mean, what happens?
It shows up once every couple months.
Yeah.
That's good.
I believe that I'm really easy to let things go. Like I could get in a fight with someone and be fine 30 seconds later. I'm someone who just like, I let it out. We get in an argument and then like, all right, are we done? Are we moving on? And so for me, it's very easy to like be very explosive in my ideas. But in that way, it's like, it's done. I'm over it. It's like we're either going to break up or we're going to keep moving. And I'm really easy to keep moving.
Yeah. For me, it's harder because all the expression of feelings and opinions and like annoyance or whatever, it hurts a lot. So it requires time for processing it. And I tend to be the one that holds more the problem. Like it takes me sometimes more time than it should, talking about days. I think the longest that we've been in an argue has been, I don't think more than a week. But at the end, is the same thing that Jennifer says. Like we're already in this game. We already agree in what was to be together. And either is so bad that we had to like really like get our own way, or we understand. And I try to be really empathetic about the situation. I always put that we have different perspectives. And yes, it hurts a lot. And maybe she doesn't understand how important it is for me to be nice and to be a little bit more patient. I try to focus more on those aspects. She only could be a little bit more patient. She will be more empathetic of my perspective. But I also believe I have a gift, which is put myself in her shoes. And that helps me a lot to like get out of my emotional part. And yeah.
I think he thinks for both of us. I think about it as I try to be like just let it go, let it go, let it go. And he analyzes and thinks and actually like quite appreciate it. Like when the moment comes that we finally like make up, he's analyzed the situation from every which way and has come out with a 3-step action plan.
She loves the call to action. As a structured person, I was like, okay, I have to give her a little bit about the things she likes. She likes planning. So then I come to her. In the middle of those emotions, I started writing all my things, all my feelings. Some feelings are just like feelings. And I keep it there, and I try to understand what are the things that have to come to the table so we can like make plans and fix whatever we need to fix or work around whatever we need to work. So yes, I've been coming out with like points, and like I write this just to make sure that I am specific and I don't beat around the bush. So I send her an email, and then I follow up over the email and said, do you remember this argument that we have about this? Well, in this email, I explain you A, B, and C. This is the same situation. So that's why I'm having these emotions. And I think it has been working, right?
Yeah, I like putting things in writing. It makes it easier.
Yeah. So I have this. I mean, I'm glad I'm talking to you because if I had to make it up, I would have said that you, the Colombian, were more explosive and more expressive and you, the American, were more reserved and pulled together. But it's the opposite. And Jennifer, do you attribute that to your family of origin? Do you attribute that to like how do you make sense of that is the way that you do emotion? Where does that come from?
That's how I grew up. That people just get mad and then they get over it. Yeah. You get mad and then you move on.
Yeah. And everything I know about Colombia, I've learned from Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Like I watched read and then watched 100 Years of Solitude. Did you guys watch it on Netflix?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah. And I read about it that like almost everyone in that series is not an actor. They were all local people who were just passionate about the story, and they decided to become like about 1/3 of the people are professional actors. Everybody else is just locals who wanted to be a part of telling this cultural story in their world.
Huh? I didn't know. Did you know that?
No.
Wow, that's really cool. I believe it.
Yeah.
I know the book, and watching the show was like a big, an additional way to connect into all the things that made me feel proud about being Colombian.
Yeah.
Being Colombian means so many things. Like if you guys in the States highlight all the diversity that exists between the states, which I have been able to test it, Colombia is pretty much the same. It's a smaller country, but has so many perspectives. And I could not say that I am like the standard Colombian. I'm just a sensitive guy that comes from the backgrounds of my family as well, that come from a specific situation.
Yeah. Well, okay. But when you say that, when you say watching the show, reading the book, it made you feel so proud, like what are you describing? Like what are you connecting to in that story that is part of your larger sense of being Colombian? I'm just curious because I love it so much, but I've never actually talked to a Colombian person about it. So.
Yeah, it gives me a different vision about the things that you don't get to see when you are being polarized about a perspective of belonging to in a specific social circle. And sometimes you feel that the struggles of the people are because of things that they're lacking to do. But when you understand the context from another point of view, and when you see that sometimes people with different interests that are trying to influence, and there's a little bit of political aspect, could make people switch between being A or B, and maybe they're not A nor B, maybe they are C. And for me, that was like, oh my goodness. So Colombia is so diverse. And unfortunately, we have been trying to be like, encapsulate into points of views that goes against so many perspectives. And this is what I connected with my point of view. In Colombia, in Antioquia, the state that I am from, and the way that we grew up, the situation of the developing of that state was really particular, super conservative, and probably more towards one point of view. But when you think about the other perspective, you start making judgments and say, oh, it's because they are more socialist, or it's because they're more of this other thing. And I was really annoyed at myself to only hold a perspective before that, and I realized this is not about just A or B. This is bigger than that. That made me feel proud, and that is Colombia. Colombia is so diverse, not only from the flowers, not only from the fruits, many diversities and points of views as well.
The show, it was describing something that I think a lot of like Americans right now are feeling, this polarization between like the right and the left. And Colombia had that, but like severe. Was it a civil war?
It's a civil war.
Totally.
And
like the show says.
Yeah, yep. And so it's just interesting how like those contexts even apply today, that like it's neither A nor B. Like there's no one or this or that. And so it's also
the other thing I appreciate about that show, and of course it's right there in the title, is that it's about 100 years. It's not about what's happening right this second or right this now. It's literally about generations on top of generations watching something kind of change and grow. And I don't know, maybe that tees up my next question is like, what are you guys aiming at? Like, what's your vision? Are you in Colombia for the duration? Do you have children? Is that part of your equation? Are you going to do coffee forever? Are you thinking about the next thing? Like what are you thinking about when you think about like next or the future?
So I think our biggest goal right now is to get ourselves more time. Okay. We are a slave to this company, but not in a bad way. We love it. We currently don't have any children that are technically alive. The company is what we would call is like our child, really. We like can't stop talking about it. We can't, think about anything else than this. We enjoy it. We have passion for it. We want to see it grow, but we don't want to do that forever. We would like a human child. That would be nice. We would definitely be going for that. And we hope in the next couple of years we've developed this company to a point that we can have professional management and we can enjoy some of the other things that we really love to do. There's like some sports, some activities we really like to do. His family they're cattle ranchers. They have a ranch in the north of Colombia, and we want to do some projects around there. And maybe raise a couple of babies and just enjoy the things that we've built.
We're waiting for the moment.
Jennifer, you're content to live and stay in Colombia for the duration. That's you found a home. Yeah.
I didn't know what I'd be doing when I met him. Like I couldn't have had any idea. If I tried to make a plan, no way, never. So like I'm happy here. Yeah. And if life takes me somewhere else, life takes us somewhere else, I'd be happy to go with the flow. I do like living in Colombia. I like it. I think that life here it's very achievable to have a comfortable life. I think the States right now, it's tough. It's really tough to have a comfortable life without like being a slave to your job, or having really good genes and being born into the right bloodline. But since we're going for hard work here, I believe that I could have a more comfortable, fulfilled life here. And it's so easily accessible to like visit my friends and family in the States. Flying from Medellin to New York is shorter than flying from Medellin to LA. From New York to LA.
Oh, wow.
So I'm closer than I would be if I lived on, the West Coast.
Yeah. Interesting. That's cool. I have this secret philosophy. It's not quite a secret, but people ask me like, how do relationships work? And I say, usually it works because couples have three things going for them. They have a strong friendship, which you guys clearly do. They have an ability to manage conflict, which it sounds like you have sorted out and figured out for yourselves. And they have a shared mission, vision, values. And it sounds like you're kind of right there. I mean, it's like you got kind of check, which is really fun to talk to. Most of the people in my practice, one or two or three of those things are in distress, like they're broken, they're not working. And so it's refreshing and it's encouraging to hear people who kind of are figuring out how to make it work with different cultures, with different, challenges, with not even really kind of knowing what you're going to do. So we're just going to brainstorm and figure it out. And it's easier to brainstorm with your friend than with your competitor, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I feel we're really clear on that. And for complementing what Jennifer was saying, also the fact that we are staying honest on the things that we feel joy for, it's easy for us to understand that traveling has to be part of our life. That visiting family in the States has to be part of our life. Going to the 4th of July in the summer is going to be part of our life. And yes, we're going to be residing here, the plan for right now, but we're not ignoring that up there's all the things for us. And we want to make sure we keep active with that, not only from a family perspective, but also with a friend's perspective. And once we make that those coffee people, leaves our house, or in this case, we get out of this house, it doesn't mean we're going to be done with coffee. It doesn't mean that. Yeah. We are going to readjust our roles and probably go more into like a strategy, board of director, maybe get into, I don't know, philanthropy, like deeper things that the industry has and we could be doing. But right now we're in building stage, so let's stay focused. And that will be one of the goals. And also like the activities, as Jennifer was saying, we believe that the impact that happens around this type of project is really beautiful. So we believe that there could be other projects, but like more like hobbies. This is a hobby, but like there is expectation that it has to work. But there could be other things like that we can do with less expectation and more passion, like that project of like my family's side, which that will be another story. We don't know where is it going to take us.
In a month or so, I'm going to London and Paris. We're looking for things to do. I don't imagine that's my best place to do side-by-side coffee taking. Sounds like I need to come to Colombia or South America of some sort. But if I do not make it to South America and I want to experience those coffee people, how do I do that? How do people participate or support or enjoy the fruit of your labor if they're listening right now and they're like, I want to try?
Well, the number one thing would be to find someone who roasts our coffee. I don't know. We have some small roasters across the United States that would be able to have our coffees roasted by them. Mm-hmm. But then it's a little bit hard to go and like find all those people and find out what our product is a part of their blend. We do have roasted coffee that's available directly on our website. Okay. And the best way though, the absolute best way is if people are here in Medellin to come actually into our office. We have a warehouse near the touristic center. And we don't like openly advertise like, hey, come on in and get some coffees. But we're always receiving like random knocks on the door of people like, oh, I saw you on Google Maps. Do you guys sell coffee? And like, yeah, come on in. And that's the best way that on an individual level, people can actually like get involved is when they're physically here to come on by and like see what we've got going on. Otherwise, random cities across the States and through the Middle East. And a little bit of Canada.
You're back in Qatar. You trying to make your inroads over there too?
Yeah, in the GCC, we have a lot of our coffees over there. Europe, not so much. North America, yes, and the Far East, not so much.
To keep outside the fact that we have channels that help us go into every part of the world, like the webpage, like our social media. We try to be really active, sharing people from our perspective. What could they learn from us? What can they learn from coffee? What can they learn from products? And for consumers, for people who wants to maybe build a direct trade relationship with us, that's what we try to focus on, because it's like we have a part, we're looking for who else in the other side is willing to make this bridge happen.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I hope it can help. I mean, it's been a delight talking to you. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to hear a little bit more about your story and to expand my own horizons. And I will keep you posted for sure, especially if I get anywhere near a cup of coffee that I decide that I'm going to enjoy. It would be like I'd have to overcome a massive mental block that I have built for 50 years. So, but we'll see if I can figure it out.
Yeah, maybe one day you're going to find yourself wandering into our warehouse and we're going to give you that one cup.
Maybe. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much to Jennifer and Andres. Man, it was so fun talking to you guys, and I can't wait to get to South America at some point and sit down with an array of coffee to figure out what it is that I like. In the meantime, come hang out with me in Philadelphia. Again, I've got a 2-day boot camp, a relational life therapy boot camp based on Terry Real's material. It's a fierce intimacy retreat that we're going to give you all the skills that you need to level up in the relationship, just feel closer, feel more equipped to do this thing, which is hard. It's November 8th and 9th. There's an early bird discount through October 12th. I would look forward to meeting you there. For now, however, I will thank you for the time and attention you're putting into making your relationship better today than it was yesterday.